Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Joshino and today we've got another episode of Spicy Speculation, this time a much rather piratey version of the show. So, army hearties. Anyway, let's dive into what's been spoiled, both by Evil Mojo Games themselves on the Paladins Game official Twitter with some spoiler images, and also a long time ago with some data mining of the new champion coming, which is codenamed Dredge. And the reason I didn't cover them is because the day the data mine came out, I was away on holiday and I was away for like a week. And I was just like, well, I'll just wait and see because I think they'll come out in patch 1.5, but they didn't come out in patch 1.5 and it was kind of a stopgap patch. And it's most likely now that this champion is coming in patch 1.6, which will be in a couple of weeks or so. I know that patch 1.5 has been rather buggy, but this is a little bit of a positive look to the future. And as always, as I go along with my spicy speculation, be sure to let me know all of your spice in the comments section below and your speculation what's coming forward. So the first image that was tweeted a few days ago from the official Twitter account is a picture of what looks like a sort of area, like a little harbour, like a shanty town built around a seafront, and the tagline was the realm's most notorious hideout for crooks and scoundrels, and he runs it. A little hint, perhaps, to the new champion coming being some sort of pirate, and the reason why it does look very sea themed is, and a bit nautical, is all of the wrecked boats upside down, like on top of these buildings, these very sort of cobbled together looking buildings. Either they've been in battles or they've just been cobbly put together pretty quickly with all of these old boats and everything just left around. Maybe even from criminal battles with pirate ships fighting each other or wrecking ashore near this area. It also has quite an ominous theme with like green glowing lanterns and sort of this dark green murk in the background and the very sort of dark waters too, which again may give some credence that the new champion coming perhaps isn't the nicest fellow around, maybe along the lines of Zin and so on. There is also a chance that this could be a part of the new map, although we haven't really seen bodies of water be central to maps. There is water around maps, but not necessarily in the center, as they're usually instant death areas. I know that Realm Royale has rejigged their base engine to have water that you can walk around in, but we'll just have to see on that one, and whether or not this will be part of the card art for the new champion, or if this is just a teaser for the sort of whole event and the backstory for the champion going forwards. We'll just have to see. Either way, it's a cool little area. The next image teased was of somebody who looks rather much more good and full of hope and just about to set out to sea, and the tagline for this one was "Sky above, sea ahead." He set out to build a new life on the open waters of the realm. Is this Dredge? Is this the new champion coming? Perhaps before something traumatic happened on the open waters when he was out to sea, or perhaps he just changed and his character changed, or even perhaps was touched slightly by the abyss or something along those lines, although I'd guess perhaps his friends were killed or his family were killed or something along those lines, and it turned him into a life of crime and villainy and becoming some form of pirate lord. The only thing is they have been a little bit misleading before. I remember the Koga card arts were a little bit misleading, so this could just be a card art for some sort of healing addition to the cards, perhaps because it's got this sort of very breath of fresh air approach to it. But that's where the foundation for this pirate theme patch, perhaps, and also champion coming. We did actually have a teaser a long time ago for a few pirate skins that they were working on, that they were concepts, and I think they were actually going to be unused, but one of them was a May pirate skin. And like with Koga and the Furia releases, they did release with them a whole set of theme skins. So the Koga ones were sort of almost ninja-y, and the ones with Furia were all based around the Abyss and the Abyssal event. I don't know whether or not there will be an event this time, although a pirate event would definitely be fun. There has been data mine of an event with references with something called Artillery in the High Sea, with blow enemies into small pieces. It could be interesting to have two moving ships, a bit like in the Unreal Tournament map where you have the two trains moving side to side, and having 5 of the new champion Dredge on either side and trying to just blow each other off of the ships, or even boarding the ships with your grenade launchers. That is very spicy speculation there. and perhaps that is maybe going to be what the event will be rather than a player versus environment sort of map. Or with the older data mines, perhaps you were on the ship trying to fight off Ying illusions, trying to board the ship. That was what was data mined, a sort of a player versus environment mode with loads of enemy crazed Ying illusions trying to attack. That could be rather interesting too. Like I said before, this Dredge gameplay footage of a very early Dredge, which I think whoever the source is Poison, is edited the code slightly so that they could play the champion. And basically, I think this is like the test version of what they're playing without models and everything like animations set up. So there's all like stand-ins at the moment, but Ash was also data mined this way, and you could see all the abilities working in action, and that data mine was completely correct. So likely this data mine is also very much on the money with the abilities, and just running through them. So the left mouse button, the main attack, is a grenade launcher. It instantly detonates if it hits an enemy or bounces on the ground before detonating, which is a lot like the Demo Man and TF2, just general grenade launchers in games going around, and Junkrat's grenade launcher too. And this does 850 damage with an AoE. So first of all, this is a new Blast champion, which is great. I was actually playing a ranked game today where the enemy team both banned out Willow and Drogos, which meant there was only one damage-based Blast champion left, which was the Bomb King, which I picked up straight away because I was on the second pick. So they kind of just swindled themselves out of the blast damage champion on that one. So with the fourth blast damage champion, there are probably more options and some more tactical elements to the banning there on which champions are meta or not. So I think that's a good addition to the realm and of the blast champion. Also, the right mouse button, the alternate fire, fires 3 of Dredge's grenades in a quick burst, and they sort of float up into the air before doing some large AoE damage. So apparently the first ability Q works like Cassie's disengage, knocking enemies back hit whilst doing some damage, and their escape is actually something interesting here. It's quite similar to a Talus teleport. However, you both put down the entrance and the exit for the teleport. So unlike Talus's where you just put one down and then you go forwards and then just instantly teleport out, you have to actually physically put down the second teleport as well to go through it. Which gives a question, and that it wasn't shown because this was only in the training zone, whether or not teammates can go through the teleport too. It seems that once you go through, only the one you exit through closes, so there's still the one open that you've gone through. So whether or not it lingers for a little bit, it doesn't seem to last very long at all either, but it'll be interesting if it is for teammates too, or if it's like limited, like maybe one could pass through with you rather quickly. It does seem there's like a teleport time when you enter as well, where it sort of lingers before taking you through, so it might be that you're a little bit vulnerable when you're going through a teleport, so it might have downsides too. And now the big bada boom, the ultimate, and this is like a massive Victor ultimate, or just like Sky's bomb, but you aim it to the ground, and it does 3000 damage to enemies caught in the radius. There's also a little fun element to his kit, and that is the reloading. So after you reload, you throw out a bomb. In this test area, it worked like Moldamba's throwing the snake out, where it throws a weapon as well. Whether or not he actually throws his weapon or not, I'm not sure, but it sort of throws out a bomb, and that does 1000 damage with AoE upon hitting an enemy, and works a bit like Damba's stun. So overall, it's quite an interesting kit. It's heavily focused on damage, little bit of disengage with the knockbacks and the teleports, and it will be interesting to see whether teammates can go through it. But the spicy speculation here that we don't know about is what their theme will be and how these will all work out. And actually, from the word dredge means moving water from one place to another, and has sort of themes with water anyway, and along the lines of Makoa's Dredge Anchor too. We actually don't have a champion in the realm yet that is sort of based around the water element. We have Fernando for flame, we have Eevee for ice, we have Bomb King for bombs. So could it be that this champion somehow harnesses the power of the sea to their advantage? Maybe their kit is some form of weapon that sort of harnesses the sea element, the elements of the sea or water itself. And it might be interesting, instead of it being sort of a grenade launcher, it fired out balls of water that explode, and it could be an interesting theme around this sort of champion that hasn't been done before. I mean, they might be trying to distance themselves from things like the Demo Man in TF2 and Junkrat in Overwatch. Maybe it will be completely different in that it will have sort of that watery theme. And the same way with the way the right mouse button looks with the orbs going up into the air, glowing blue, it does look a lot like it could be like water sort of rising up, almost evaporating into the air, then exploding. And they could be like almost like big droplets of water, sort of orbs of water going up into the air before sort of splashing out. And I was thinking, especially with the ultimate, whether this could be a bit like there's an ultimate in Dota 2 where Kunkka, he's like the pirate themed hero there, who on their ultimate calls out a ship, like a ghost ship, to go and crash into the ground in sort of an AoE where you basically target it. So could it be something like that? Could it be a massive tidal wave that sort of splashes up? Or it's like a shark that chomps up into the air from the ground? Or even just like a big wave that crashes down onto the floor from the air? A bit like Victor's ultimate, just water themed. And the same way with the teleports, could it be that you put down the teleporter, it's like a big body of water, and then you go into it and then you slide down into a stream of water that slides through, and you sort of like splash up in the area where you teleported to next. And finally, with the reload, if you are using something that is disposable, the weapon itself could be that he's just sort of harnessing water, and you just basically chuck the rest of the water onto the enemy to explode and splash onto whoever you threw it at. Either way, it was interesting to talk about how their abilities actually work, but whether or not there is a water theme, and if they are actually a pirate rather than sort of like a criminal sort of sea guy, rather than like the full-on sort of army hearties, big pirate hat and things like that, then we'll just have to see about that as well. The card art does sort of hint towards the seafaring role, and again, it could be that he's actually good, and this card art sort of hints at that, and that perhaps the original teaser was perhaps with their lore about the antagonist in their lore, who he's sort of battling against perhaps. We'll just have to see, but be sure to let me know all of your spicy speculation in the comments section below. Aren't too related, so I'm not entirely sure whether these are 1.6 or coming later. But there's Vivian Halloween, Ying Halloween, Victor Halloween, Fernando Death Knight, Fernando, which could be the Fernando Halloween one listed, the Talus Monster, Halloween Talus, which could be the same one again, Koga Cyberpunk, Ying Illusionist, Maeve Sprinter, Book Sprinter, Fernando Sprinter, which could be sort of based on some sport event. I'm not actually sure what sport events are coming up soon. Inara Maiden of Steel, so like a steel Inara, Book Hercules, and a Lion Mount. Although again, none of these are pirate related, so I'm not sure whether these ones are coming next or a bit later on. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Joshino.